right, so here's that client that I did a video on just showing how we kind of onboard people, me and Sam. We might do it slightly differently to each other, but it's generally the same approach. If you haven't seen that video, go back to that because that'll give you all the context for this latest video. But essentially, this is 4 to 6 weeks post that initial starting point. And just to do a quick recap, this is kind of the program outlay that we had. And just going through everything, the leg extension isometrics, everything here changed. So I just want to say when you are programming and you are training someone, you will have a plan, but then you'll have like a backup plan and then usually another plan just in case anything goes wrong, or obviously you can get some different results to what you thought you would get to. So a prime example would be here, the leg extension isos to work on that quadriceps inhibition. That there says I was going to start with 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 seconds. However, he actually reacted really well to that. And so we just went straight from 10 to 15-second reps to 45 seconds to a minute at still a pretty high intensity. Now, at the start, he was getting a lot of hip pain in his left hip and well, not necessarily pain, but he was getting tightness. And so our goal with these leg extension isos was to really get that quadricep firing and working. So the main goal is to just get the feeling of that quadricep working when we're performing the exercise. And it was really crucial to get a big burn. So that burn was kind of the key indicator that we were getting what we wanted out of that exercise. From there, because he mentioned that he struggled to do leg presses without lower back pain, we simply just focused on avoiding that butt wink and really nutted out a good depth that he could work with without pain. From there, all this stuff's kind of just general physical preparedness. This calf raise we didn't actually start doing until a couple weeks ago, so about 4 weeks in, just because we were focusing on this main body of work more. But long story short, everything went well. He reacted really well and responded really well. So we moved down to here, which is the basis of his current program. So as you can see here, I'll just nut out the smaller, less important things first. We're just doing some bench press because he's a young bloke. You got to get hench, got to build that chest. And then we've got some ring rows, so just some basic back calisthenics, really good exercise for the back too, and you can build great hypertrophy with it at a young training age. And we've got some lateral raises just to boulder up those shoulders. But the more important stuff here is in this main part, we've gotten rid of those leg extension isometrics simply just because we achieved the outcome we were kind of trying to get. He got rid of that quad inhibition and he could really utilize that quad to move weight. Was getting a serious burn, which was some great feedback to show us that we were heading in the right direction. So instead of doing that to try eliminate that quad inhibition, which is probably gone now, we've just taken away that extension isometric and we've just got the leg extensions now at quite a heavy weight, to be honest, for him. We've just paired that with the bench press just because we want to save time. I've only got 45 minutes with him, so these exercises won't impact each other when you perform them back to back. So I thought, why not put them both together? And the bench press is technical when you start learning it in the beginning, so we're putting it higher up in the chain. But from there, here's the real hot sauce of the session. We've got a lateral bound progression. So originally I just started him with a lateral bound and stick. A lot of people don't like lateral bound and sticks because they're like, why would you just land and try to hold it? It doesn't make sense. But I really want him to laterally bound and then load that hip in that like horizontal plane of movement because that'll really help him get into his hip, trust his hip, utilize all his hip muscles, and then once he stabilizes there, he can bound out of it. So we've been doing that for 2 weeks. This week, we're going to transition to a lateral bound and hop. So he'll laterally bound, and instead of sticking that landing, he'll hop and then bound straight back into the other side. So just on top of this, we also added a few weeks ago some big jump, little jumps. So just getting a little bit of elasticity and jumping into the lower limb, but not at a crazy intensity, just to get that lower limb complex prepared for better jumping. So that lateral bound and skip progression is tied with a kickstand RDL. I haven't been doing the hip flexor stabilize as of yet. We've just been focusing on the form, and he's one of those rare cases where the first time he ever did a kickstand hinge, he could just perfectly do it. So we're at 17.5 kilograms and he's doing really well. We're just really trying to focus on getting into that ass when we're performing the exercise. Because remember, he gets a tight hip sometimes and it overtakes with some exercises where it really shouldn't be. And he's had some previous hip issues. So it's really important we're getting into this hip. And that's why I'm starting with a kickstand hinge, because we're trying to really utilize getting into that hip socket instead of, say, performing an RDL where you don't necessarily get into the hip. You can't utilize a singular hip each time. Where doing it like this unilaterally, you can really engage a specific hip and get into that hip socket. From here, we've been doing 3 sets of 8 hack squats, really, really heavy. Well, we've been doing 3 sets of 6. This week, we're going to move to 3 sets of 8 of 80 kilograms. And this is at about 9 out of 10 RPE. So obviously, these two exercises are more so about movement quality than moving weight per se. So we roll straight into a heavy, really intense, like 9 out of 10 RPE hack squat just to get some good loading into the legs. And then you've got the remaining 2 upper body GPP exercises. So this is kind of the thought process I kind of had was, all right, we've gotten some really good work into his legs with just some really simple exercises. We've gotten rid of that quad inhibition. Now, let's change kind of our strategy and approach and try to get some good movement quality in multiple different planes of movement and try to really utilize that hip. And then, of course, we're just absolutely loading the lights out of him with this hack squat, which is really good. So he's traveling really well, like no pain at all with the jumps, with the hack squats, with the kickstands, stuff like that, which is really important and kind of what we were after. And from here, we're gradually just going to get him progressing to some heavier loads, of course, to get super strong, but also some more intense plyometrics and stuff like that. Because he does have the goal that he does want to start running. And so we want to get him really athletic. A lot of, especially because he's 19, like a lot of people train clients and regardless of their age, but especially kids, and they'll just get them to do like a bodybuilding or kind of powerlifting centric program where when you're 19 and 20, you should be jumping, you should be sprinting, you should be running, you should be playing. Like, I don't know why people just stop playing at such a young age as well, but everyone should be playing, like I said, jumping, sprinting, running, rolling, climbing, all that stuff. So I've spoken to him about that, and he's pretty keen on the idea of improving those physical qualities too. So that's just a general recap of how he traveled from the start and then the kind of progression we've made with his programming. If you have any questions, let us know, and I hope you like the video, like and subscribe. Take care. Thanks.